How's it going, everybody? Welcome to OP Entertainment. I'm Omar Darwish.
And I'm Pratik Cherian.
And our long-awaited review for Halloween Kills. Halloween 3, Halloween 2, Part 2. It's the third. It's the third.
Every time I was
second one.
telling people that I was going to see this movie, I'd be like, I really like the last one. I mean, you know, the most recent one. The first one, not the first one. Yeah,
the first one.
Right. So, I think we were both fairly positive on the most recent Halloween film,
Fairly
right?
positive, yeah. Enough to see where...
I think I was
curious enough where it was going. I
Yeah.
think you liked it more, but you hadn't seen the original.
And I still have not.
And I'm a diehard fan of the original. I think the first, two, the third one kind of,
All right, we're not reviewing the whole franchise. Anyway,
just to give some backstory on, where we're coming from on this.
Yeah. How did you feel about this one?
I can't even say it was a movie, Pratik. I was going to say, well, it was a movie, but... Dude, it literally felt like such a... First, we're going to go spoiler-free.
Yes.
But save yourself. Don't see this movie. It doesn't even
feel
like a movie. Yes. It literally feels like a TV special to me. I don't know if I've heard worse dialogue, seen worse characters realized on screen. Was there a likable character in this movie? Was there one likable character? Maybe the daughter's daughter,
the granddaughter from but I guess
she sucked so bad in the last movie that I hated her in this one.
I mean, you know what? It really did feel like a collection of fan shots that were just stitched together into a movie. It almost felt like we were just going from set piece to set piece to set piece with no rhyme or reason as to why we were going from point A to point B to point C.
That's the question I have for you. So you would say no rhyme or reason. Did it not, because you haven't seen the original, was it not painfully obvious to you that they were just, because what they were doing was they would bring original characters from the first one and they'd say the same line that they said in the first one. Or they'd be like the nurse gets, pulled through the window just like how she almost did in the first one. And it's remember this, guys? Remember this? I am that target demographic and I hated it. It was such pandering and such a badly done piece of work, man.
So... Clearly, I didn't realize that because I haven't seen the original. But at the same time, it definitely felt like there were times where things would be zoomed in or shot in a particular way. I'm like, why are they? I'm like, that must be a callback. I'm like, that's a callback.
But that's what's crazy. It's like they tried to give, first of all, so much exposition in this movie for the people who haven't seen the first one, and it obviously didn't even work because you didn't even catch it's just boring. It's just boring stuff being
and to be quite honest and. I don't think this is a spoiler necessarily, but basically, if you've seen the trailer, the first one or two trailers for this, you've basically seen all the best parts from the movie, and then you know exactly how this movie is going to go if you've seen the trailers.
I also have a fundamental problem without going to spoilers, I have a fundamental problem with what people's understanding of what Michael Myers is.
I was kind of thinking that too, just based on having seen the last one. It was in that one, they went out of their way to make him almost a force of nature, which is how he should be, I would say. In this one, it's just wait, what is he? Why is he? Am I supposed to be thinking about the motivations?
Just a person?
It was weird. It was just weird in the differences between the two.
So when the first Halloween, the original Halloween, back in the day, 78, when that franchise first started, Laurie was his sister, and he was going to kill his family, and there's a family lineage thing to it, and he's pretty much going around killing his family. For the most part, I know it got into a bunch of cult stuff later on in the franchise, but for the most part, he has a purpose to what he's doing.
Yeah.
And in this, it just felt what. Michael Myers doesn't just go out of his way to kill people for no reason, and it felt like a lot of that. They try to make a point of he's making a straight line to his old home, but not really at the same time. And also, if you don't like stupid characters in movies, every character, if you're we're in 2021 and we're still having to be no, don't go down that stairwell, no, don't go alone, no, don't split up. Dude, these characters are so dumb.
I think there's on the one hand, sometimes I think some movies can do it in a way that's kind of a wink and a nod and kind of funny.
Yeah. In Candyman, kind of. They had a kind of a nod like that.
Yeah. I think this one, it was just it was pathetic in a way. I felt like the audience we were with, I felt like they were laughing at the movie
out
more.
Of obligation.
Well, it just felt yeah. I feel like there was one or two times during our screening where somebody in the audience would say something that was just so funny because it was just in great contrast to whatever was happening on screen.
But imagine just being the only person in the audience and watching this movie. I would have fallen asleep, dude.
I would have left.
I think the acting was the best part of the movie, and it was still terrible. The thing is, like, you can't really blame like Jamie Lee Curtis or
You know, I felt like they definitely left her on the side for way too long in this movie.
Which
for
we-
such a dynamic character, again, especially contrasting the one Halloween movie
Yeah.
I've seen. Like, in that, she was a force. And in this, I just felt like we went way too... Like, it almost felt like there was a quota of scenes that her contract said she had to be in, so
Yeah.
they just did that.
I mean, honestly though, it's because they have this idea for this trilogy, right?
Right,
And so
which they've already announced.
they'd have
so.
to. They kind of benched Laurie Strode in this one and focus more on like the, I guess you'd call them legacy characters from the first Halloween.
Sure.
Which, like, dude, I don't know if those were the. I think one of the nurses was the same exact actress. I don't know if the rest of them were the same actors from like the original, but like, who cares, man? Just get properly trained actors and like write an actual script that has some substance to it.
So I will say with that, not having seen the original one, this movie did a lot of flashbacks,
Which
and
was kind of nice. I like that.
I personally,
The acting in the flashbacks was terrible, but the flashbacks were fine.
they felt like I had a hard time telling like which ones were like
Actually from the
original
movie?
Yeah, like what were original flashbacks
Yeah.
and what were just like stuff they did for this movie. So I thought that was kind of cool.
And that shows
so, like,
that John
yeah.
Carpenter was a producer on this. And that's it. That's probably the only notes he gave. The music was also great.
The music
was
to
great
me,
'cause
the
Carpenter
music
came
is
back to
probably
score.
the music was probably the best part. I mean, it's hard to mess up like that iconic Michael Myers score. So
Yeah, and like that's one of my favorite scores of all time. So, and they kind of tweak it a little bit in this. Like if you're a diehard fan of that score, you'll notice it. But I don't even think like the average like filmgoer would notice.
I feel like every time it came on, it was such a breath of fresh air that you
Yeah.
don't care that it's been tweaked or whatever. You're just like,
It's almost it's like
okay.
the Star Wars John Williams score. Like they change it a little bit here
Yeah.
and there from movie to movie, but it's the same. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the same score. It's the
Yeah.
same score. Let's just try to pull a couple more positives out there, Pratik. Why should anybody see this movie?
You hate your life.
Honestly, dude, like I would watch any Halloween movie before watching this one. And that is saying something. There's like 3 god awful ones. And this is right there at the bottom. I don't even want to score it because I don't want to give it a 0, man. I've never given anything a 0. And
Okay, all right. The flashback stuff was cool. It was,
But it
wasn't
wasn't.
keeping.
It still wasn't done as well as it could have been.
It definitely
It was
had
shot nicely.
I feel like
even
it
like
had
the
like
tracking,
that.
even the slow
yeah.
tracking shots we got from the last movie that was
Yeah.
paying homage to the original. We didn't get any of that in this.
No, I
It was-
noticed
it
that
was
too,
shot
yeah.
like a brand new like The Conjuring would be shot, and it just
I feel like I don't know. It's one of those things where it really had like this B movie type quality to it.
it felt like a Hallmark movie. Like,
yeah, and like there were points where I'm like, is this in so bad it's good territory? And then very quickly, like 30 seconds later, I'm like, no, it's just so bad it's bad.
This is one of those ones where, like, as a kid, if I would have caught it on like Sci-Fi Network, halfway through, maybe I'd watch it to the end. But like, it's not a movie worth like paying to see. Like, especially because like a lot of people don't go to movies a lot.
It'd be like if you were a kid, it'd be like if the only way you would like this movie as a kid is if you saw the first one, had no idea about any other ones,
Yeah.
and then one day like you were flipping
what?
through channels and came in the middle of this, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah,
that's the only way you would like this.
I just hope that they have some sort of grand plan for this trilogy, and like this was just the filler episode, quote unquote, for like for this franchise or this trilogy that they're doing. And I gotta imagine that to greenlight a trilogy, you would have to have some sort of big idea.
I mean, let's ask Lucasfilm about that. Anyway, without spoiling it, did the way this movie ended leave you excited for a third film?
There was a moment when I thought, okay, there was 2 moments actually where I thought that, oh, they're gonna leave it on like kind of this like cliffhanger, and they do kind of,
Yeah.
but they kind of undo their ending very quickly. This movie kind of ends multiple times. Like, what are they doing? Like, what are they doing?
I'm kind of with you. I feel like...
What do you think their plan is?
I don't know. I feel like they had a moment where they could have ended it and it would have been ambiguous enough where I may have been able to be talked back in for a third one.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like the ending was a culmination of the stupidity from the rest of the film, all wrapped into a nice 5-minute bow. And by nice, I just mean it's very, very stupid.
At
So,
least all the characters were stupid.
that's, yeah.
Is that a positive? At least all the characters were stupid. Put that on the poster. So you think the highlight of the movie is probably the score and then
And the flashbacks.
and the
scenes.
flashbacks were kind of cool. Yeah. What do we think about the kills, though? Let's talk about the kills. I had heard going in that there were some really unique kills in here and the stuff like that. And this is really yeah, exactly. This is really the most, like, I've seen this 1,000 times. Like, I've seen half these kills when I was watching Invincible. Like, I mean, these kills are, I've seen these same kills from Michael Myers maybe in the last movie. Like, it just, and also it seemed like the movie was rated PG-13 for so much of it. Like, he would be about to go do something gruesome and it would kind of cut away to like not show it.
I don't know about that.
There are some gruesome stuff in there, but if you've seen other Halloween movies, they usually don't shy away from anything. They'll rip someone in half and show like their guts hanging out. And this, it's like before he spins someone's head around, it kind of cuts to a further shot. And it's like, why are you being wusses about it? If you're gonna go for it, just go for it. But like, I don't know. I'm starting to just think I don't like horror movies anymore, and that's like my favorite genre when I was growing up. So
I might cut this, so that's why I left a pause right there. Okay. But not to get like political, but did it feel weird that they just killed minority characters like this whole time? It was just like, all right, we're just like checking them off the list. Like let's do the thing.
Is, though, he's killing a white person every here and again. You know?
They sprinkle them in.
It would have been nice to have more representation other than just like a body count of dead people. But
right.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I kind of thought that maybe they'd leave one of them alive just so that they didn't kill every minority that made an appearance. But, you know, what do you do?
I mean, you know, Lori's a minority somehow. The complete opposite. Did you feel like there was a message, without going into spoilers, about there's a hospital scene, let's just say that, in this movie where they're chasing somebody in a hospital that might be Michael Myers. Did you feel like there was some sort of underlying message to that?
I felt like what was the point? I felt like the movie wanted us to think it was.
I could not, just for the life of me, figure out. Because, like, if it was a mystery to the audience, maybe, but they fully let the audience know that this person is not Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There were multiple points in this movie where it felt like the movie was trying to make a point, and I'm like,
what's the point?
Like, you clearly have no idea what you're doing here. All right. I feel like we've bashed on this for a solid, 15, 20 minutes-ish?
Yeah, we'll cut this
All
out.
right.
We'll cut this out.
Let's score it and get out of here.
You go first. I'm too upset.
This is a hard one to score because it really is like, how far down do I want to take it? Like, how much do I give points to these small kernels of happiness that popped up in the
Let me ask you
middle?
this. Is it the worst movie of the year for you so far?
That's what I'm debating right now.
I haven't seen Hitman's Bodyguard twice.
You know what? So. You know what? Let's just go for it. Yes, it's the worst movie I've seen this year. I'm going to give it a 2. You could very easily talk me into a 1, but I'm going to go 2. 1 point for the score and 1 point for the flashbacks. You're welcome.
It's a sad day when my score is lower than yours. Sad day. Dude, they just need to stop with this franchise, honestly. I'm mildly curious to see the next one just to see how it's going to end, but that would mean I would have to sit through the same boring, part of my French, bullshit that we just sat through with this last movie. So, because the score was decent, was pretty good, and because the flashbacks they were filmed nicely enough, I'm really trying here. I'm going to give it a 1.
The credits were really nice, too.
Like I said, they kind of went the old school orange credits.
And it meant the movie was over. There's no post-credit scene. Like, yes.
I was literally Googling if there was post-credit scene. You're like, dude, can we leave? I was like, yeah, who cares? Who cares? Let's just go. But yeah, I'm not going to give it a 0 because... there's something in there. I'm sure somebody will like this movie.
Oh, sure.
Maybe if you saw one Halloween movie one day and that all you like about it is how his mask looks, but it doesn't even look the same. Yeah, I'm struggling here. I'm going to say 1. Take your takes out.
Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you for sitting through that torrent of negativity from the two of us.
I'm going to go watch the original Halloween.
We'll be coming at you with more horror movie reviews through this month.
Yeah, we've got a Dune review coming next week, which I cannot wait for.
Please let that be good because I'm tired of reviewing bad movies.
If anything, I'm grateful for this movie because it'll be the next movie you see will be Dune, so maybe by comparison you'll like it better.
Can't wait. Check it out on HBO Max. All right, we'll see you later.
Check it out in theaters. See you guys.